4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
You are now tuned
to the podcast for the thinking person, universalexports.co. In today's podcast, we check out shark-seeking, X-ray emitting drones, losing weight by eating proteins, how to carry batteries on airlines and look good at the same time, the security weaknesses in Wi-Fi, the big bird count, including small birds, shepherding moons, and much, much more. Stay tuned, universalexports.co. Shark detection is about to go futuristic, using drones with military-grade cameras that can X-ray the water, then beam an alert direct to a surfer or swimmer's smartwatch. Western Australia-based company Shark Alert International says the technology is a game changer and will cut the number of shark attacks. Beach trials will begin in Western Australia in December with a drone and a helicopter fitted with a camera to detect sharks during snapper spawning season in Cockburn Sound. Shark Alert is also in talks with surf lifesaving authorities in Western Australia and on the east coast for the technology to be used on existing helicopter and drone patrols. The detection system uses high-tech multispectral cameras linked to advanced computer software to detect automatically the signature of a shark in the water. Unlike human spotters in helicopters, multispectral cameras can see sharks on the surface and at depths down to 10 metres, observe a wider stretch of ocean, and are not hindered by waves, chop or glare. When sharks are detected, the information can be passed in real time to lifeguards on the beach to sound an alert. Alerts can also be sent directly to the public via an app on a phone or waterproof smartwatch. Shark Alert Managing Director Chris Gutler says his company has teamed up with US-based Advanced Coherent Technology, an enterprise that has previously used drone-mounted cameras and software to detect Russian submarines for the US Navy and find military targets in Afghanistan. Wow, what a way to go. And drones lead us into our next article. A lot of people have drones and carry them around all over the place. However, there are certain problems that exist when you consider taking your drone on an airline. The main problem being the lithium-ion batteries that are used in the drones. So here are some tips for you if you're going on particular airlines. You'll find with probably all Australian airlines that you cannot put lithium-ion batteries in checked luggage. It must be carry-on, generally up to only 2 batteries with which you can do that. Here are some more helpful hints when you are carrying your batteries. Put your batteries into a storage charge mode, in other words, 3.7, 3.8 volts per cell. Use a LiPo-safe pouch. Some pouches have the IATA regulations printed on them. Label each battery with its watt-hour. Carry a physical copy of the airline's own dangerous goods documentation so you don't have too much of a hassle with the staff. And use this as a guide only. I'm not going to take any responsibility. You must refer to the airline's website for their up-to-date rules about carrying lithium-ion batteries before arranging any flight. And don't forget, doesn't apply just to drone-carrying people, also applies to laptop-carrying people. Mushrooms as a protein. Most people might think of meat when they think of protein. Steaks and chops are not the only place to get it. Mushrooms also offer a dose of protein, and they do so without the potential disease-causing and life-shortening effects of a diet high in animal protein. A year-long study conducted by Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health found that obese individuals who swapped mushrooms for meat lost an average of 7 pounds, lowered their blood pressure, and reduced body fat and waist circumference. My God, do I need this? In the new study, which notably was conducted by the Mushroom Council, a group that no doubt has a vested interest in promoting the benefits of edible fungi, 32 women and men were split into two groups. One group ate 226 grams of sliced white button mushrooms, Agaricus bosporus, twice a day, while the others consumed 28 grams of meat twice a day. Those amounts contained equal amounts of protein, which proved significant in the study, with results showing that the people who included the mushrooms in their diets reported feeling significantly fuller and less hungry than their meat eaters. They also tended to eat less calories during the day if they started with mushrooms in their breakfast. Previous studies on mushrooms suggest that they can be more satiating than meat, but this effect had not been studied with protein-matched amounts until now, said gut health and satiety researcher and study author Joanne Slavin, professor of the University of Minnesota. As with previous published research, she said, this study indicates there may be both a nutritional and satiating benefit to either substituting mushrooms for meat in some meals or replacing some of the meat with mushrooms. In addition to providing protein, mushrooms also provide vitamin D. I bet you didn't know that, which is a rarity when it comes to foods found in the produce aisle, as it is most commonly found in fish, dairy, liver and eggs, which adds to its potential benefits as a meat substitute. This new study adds a growing body of evidence that suggests mushrooms may aid weight management and satiety and thus contribute to overall wellness, said Mary Jo Feeney, a nutrition research coordinator to the Mushroom Council. Consumers are interested in the benefits of protein food choices, so it's important for them to know that plant-based sources of protein, such as mushrooms, can be very satisfying. I can only but agree. Love it, love it, love it. There is a flaw in computer Wi-Fi. A computer security researcher from Belgium's KU Leuven has inadvertently discovered a major security law in the WPA2 protocol that projects the majority of Wi-Fi networks. Oh my goodness, they're out to get us again. This revelation means that every device using WPA2 Wi-Fi security is vulnerable to being spied on, and simply changing your password won't prevent an attack. Matthew Van Hoof stumbled across the security vulnerability while working on a completely different project. In analysing the way the WPA2 protocol generates an encryption key when a new client joins a network, Van Hoof discovered this process can be hijacked using a technique he dubbed a key reinstallation attack, or crack. He explains it this way. In a key reinstallation attack, the adversary tricks a victim into reinstalling an already in-use key. This is achieved by manipulating and replaying cryptographic handshake messages. When the victim reinstalls the key, associated parameters such as the incremental transmit packet number, that is nonce, and receive packet number, the replay counter, are reset to the initial value. Essentially, to guarantee security, a key should only be installed and used once. Unfortunately, we found this is not guaranteed by the WPA2 protocol. By manipulating cryptographic handshakes, we can abuse this weakness in practice. Van Hoof adds that the vulnerability is also present in WPA1 protocol, and many Android smartphones are especially vulnerable to the security flaw. As a proof of concept, a key reinstallation attack was deployed against an Android smartphone. All the data transmitted to and from the victim's device can be effectively decrypted and viewed. So what does this mean in reality to us, the regular layperson? Not a great deal, thankfully. The vulnerability is not especially easy to exploit and requires an attacker to be in the range of a specific Wi-Fi signal. While a targeted system can be effectively spied on if compromised, this vulnerability does not circumvent other forms of security and encryption, such as the HTTPS. A virtual private network also adds extra protection and would circumvent this vulnerability. So I think a VPN might be a very wise investment.
Space Talk, Space Talk, Space Talk.
Saturn's rings. The Cassini spacecraft, to which we owe so much, may have been destroyed on its fiery plunge through Saturn's atmosphere last month, but data it sent back to Earth before it met its end is still proving valuable. The most recent analysis of Cassini data Cornell astronomers have determined that a 3 decades-old assumption about the relationship between Saturn's moon Janus and the planet's A-ring is just plain wrong. For years, astronomers have charted the relationship between the Saturnian rings and the planet's moons. In 2009, for example, Saturn's largest ring was discovered lying beyond the inner rings. It was formed from debris from its moon Phoebe. There are also 2 gaps in Saturn's inner ring system known as the Encke Gap and Keller Gap. These are formed by the orbit of 2 tiny moons, Pan and Daphnis, respectively. Another long-held belief was that Saturn's moon Janus, which orbits the gas giant just outside the A-ring, was single-handedly responsible for keeping that ring constrained. Without the gravitational force it asserts on the ring, went the thinking, the tiny particles comprising it would shoot out into space, eventually depleting it. While the assertion about the constraining influence of the moon on the rings is correct, the new data suggests that Janus doesn't do it ring corralling all by itself. The nearby moons Pan, Atlas, Prometheus, Pandora and Epimetheus, Mimas also chip in by helping Janus steal some of the A-ring's momentum and thereby keeping it from spiraling out into space. All of these moons work as a group to contain the ring, said Radwan Tajuddin, a Cornell research associate in astronomy and lead author of the new research. Together they are strong, united they stand. Let's count birds. This is all about the Aussie Backyard Bird Count, and it takes place from the 23rd to the 29th of October this year, which is also Bird Month. Have you registered for the Aussie Backyard Bird Count yet? If not, give it a go. Last year, thousands of people around Australia, experts and novices alike, counted over 1.4 million birds. How you can get involved? The hashtag Aussie Bird Count is a great way to connect with birds in your backyard, no matter where your backyard happens to be. A suburban backyard, a local park, a patch of forest, down by the beach, or the main street of your town. You can count as many times as you like over the week. We just ask that each count is completed over a 20-minute period. The data collected assists BirdLife Australia in understanding more about birds that live where people live. Just search Aussie Bird Count on your browser and register. We had the wonderful opportunity to go through Wiseman's Ferry in recent times. It's about 75 k's from Sydney, 70 minutes by car. The population of Wiseman's Ferry itself is only 220, so it is a lovely little place. Encircled by noteworthy national parks, Darug to the north and east, Yengo to the northwest, Cat-Eye to the west, Marramara to the south. Wiseman's Ferry is a rustic village on one of the country's most famous waterways. Although it is a favourite retreat for Sydney-siders, its popularity has neither eroded its rural charm nor disturbed the hotel's famous ghost. The sandstone escarpments that ring the village are typically Australian, providing a unique view of authentic country lifestyle less than 40 minutes northwest of Hornsby. The area abounds in Aboriginal and European history. The 4,850-hectare Darug National Park contains 16k of convict-built of Old Great North Road that once connected Sydney and Newcastle. Wonderful place to have a picnic. If you play golf, or even if you don't, get out on the golf course, have a go, and go and see if you can find that ghost. Variety is the spice of life and the source of great knowledge base. This is what our podcasts are full of. Our pods will help you become more informed, entertained, culturally aware, invigorated, astonishingly good-looking, and the person that everyone would like to be. You can be ever held in awe simply by listening to universalexports.co.